In the year 2157, humanity thought they were ready for first contact. They weren't. The Zorn vessels appeared suddenly, their crystalline ships refracting sunlight across Earth's orbit like artificial auroras. Their arrival sparked celebration across the globe. Proof at last that humanity wasn't alone in the cosmos. The aliens' technology was centuries ahead of Earth's best achievements, yet they approached with what seemed like peaceful intent, establishing communication through mathematical sequences before progressing to more complex exchanges. Admiral Sarah Chen remembered that day vividly as she stood before the United Earth Council 5 years later, her dress uniform feeling like armor against the weight of her failure. "We were naive," she said, her voice carrying across the chamber. "We mistook technological advancement for enlightenment." The Zorn had appeared benevolent at first, offering to share their knowledge of faster-than-light travel and clean energy production. Their representatives, tall humanoids with iridescent skin that shifted colors with their moods, had been welcomed into humanity's highest circles of government and science. For 6 months, Earth celebrated what seemed to be the dawn of a new age of prosperity and advancement. Then came the wave. It struck every major population center simultaneously, an electromagnetic pulse unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. In an instant, every piece of technology more sophisticated than a calculator went dark. Cities plunged into chaos as power grids failed, communications collapsed, and vital systems shut down. In orbit, Earth's defensive satellites and stations became dead metal, floating uselessly as the Zorn's true invasion force emerged from fold space. "We lost 30 million people in the first hour," Chen continued, her fingers tracing the scar that ran from her temple to her jaw. A reminder of her desperate escape from Singapore Command when the Zorn ground forces landed. Another 100 million in the week that followed. But we learned something crucial about our enemy that day. The Zorn had expected humanity to break. Their strategy had worked countless times before: disable a civilization's technology, then sweep in during the chaos to establish total dominion. But humans proved different. When the power went out, they adapted. When communications failed, they improvised. When their weapons went dark, they fought with whatever tools remained. The resistance was brutal and primitive by necessity: ballistic weapons, spring-powered mechanisms, and chemically propelled rockets. Technology too simple for the Zorn's disruption field to affect became humanity's lifeline. The aliens found themselves fighting an enemy that refused to surrender, that turned every city into a fortress, every civilian into a potential soldier. "The Zorn made a critical mistake," Chen said, allowing herself a grim smile. "They judged us by our technology, not by our will to survive. They thought shutting down our machines would shut down our spirit. Instead, they taught us their greatest weakness: their absolute dependence on sophisticated technology." The council chamber was silent as Chen activated a holographic display, showing the schematics of what humanity had been building in secret for the past 3 years. Deep beneath the Mariana Trench, protected from the Zorn's scanning technology by kilometers of water and specialized shielding, the United Earth Engineering Corps had been working on humanity's response. "This," Chen said, gesturing to the rotating image, "is the U.S. Phoenix, a warship unlike anything humanity, or the Zorn, has ever seen. While they believe they've contained us, forced us into a pre-industrial state, we've been building something they won't expect. A vessel that combines our most advanced technology with systems so basic they're invisible to their disruption fields." The Phoenix was a hybrid of extremes: quantum computers alongside mechanical calculators, plasma drives paired with chemical rockets, energy weapons next to gunpowder-based artillery. Every critical system had a primitive backup, ensuring the ship could continue fighting even if hit by the Zorn's electromagnetic weapons. "We've lost battles," Chen concluded, her voice hardening with determination, "but not our ability to fight. The Zorn believe they've broken us, reduced us to a primitive species waiting to be fully subjugated. They patrol our skies with skeleton crews, confident in their superiority. That confidence will be their undoing. The council votes were unanimous. In 1 week, the Phoenix would launch, crewed by Earth's finest and commanded by Admiral Chen herself. One ship against an empire, a mission that seemed impossible, yet represented humanity's greatest strength, the ability to rise from defeat, to adapt, to survive. As Chen left the chamber, she touched the scar on her face once more. The Zorn had given her that mark during humanity's darkest hour. Soon, she would return the favor. The Phoenix would rise from Earth's oceans like a ghost from humanity's supposedly conquered past, carrying with it a message for the Zorn Empire. Humanity would not go quietly into the night. The real war was about to begin. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a cavern carved from the Earth's crust, the U.S. Phoenix waited like a coiled spring. Its hull, a patchwork of traditional metals and advanced composites, reflected the harsh work lights in a way that made it seem alive. Admiral Chen stood on the observation deck, watching as the final preparations were made for launch. "Status report," she commanded, her voice carrying across the command center carved into the cavern wall. Dr. Maya Patel, the Phoenix's chief engineer, stepped forward. Her dark hair was streaked with premature gray, a testament to the 3 sleepless years she'd spent bringing this impossible ship to life. "The hybrid drive is operating at 98% efficiency. We've successfully tested all primitive backup systems under simulated EMP conditions. She's ready, Admiral." The Phoenix represented humanity's greatest technological achievement, not because it was the most advanced, but because it was deliberately designed to function at both extremes of technological sophistication. Its outer hull contained layers of simplified circuitry that would appear as background noise to Zorn sensors. Behind that deceptive shell lay weapons that could challenge even their most advanced warships. "Show me the Shadowmaker," Chen ordered. Maya led her to a sealed chamber deep within the ship. Inside, suspended in a magnetic field, hung what looked like a sphere of pure darkness. "Our greatest advantage," Maya explained. "We reversed engineered it from debris left after their initial attack. The Zorn use quantum entanglement for their communications and sensor networks. The Shadowmaker creates a field of artificial quantum decoherence. In simple terms, it breaks their ability to share information. Each Zorn ship will be isolated, forced to act alone rather than as part of their collective consciousness. More importantly, they won't be able to warn others when we strike." Chen nodded, studying the device. The Zorn's greatest strength was their interconnected nature, each ship sharing data and responding as part of a greater whole. The Shadowmaker would turn that strength into a weakness. The next 12 hours were a blur of final checks and preparations. Ken handpicked her crew of 300, survivors all, each carrying their own scars from the invasion. They had trained together for months in secret, learning to operate both the advanced systems and their primitive backups. Lieutenant James Rodriguez, her tactical officer, approached with a tablet displaying the latest intelligence. "Zorn patrol patterns updated, Admiral. They're maintaining their standard rotation. 1 capital ship per sector, supported by automated drones. Their confidence in their superiority is absolute." "That confidence is about to cost them dearly," Chen replied, studying the patrol routes. "Have you identified our first target?" Rodriguez nodded grimly. "The Arbitrator. It's their command ship for the entire Sol system, currently in high orbit over what used to be Geneva. Crew complement of approximately 200 Zorn, mostly technical specialists. They don't maintain large military crews anymore. They don't think they need to." Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Upload the targeting data to navigation. We launch in 3 hours." The Phoenix's launch chamber began to flood, the massive doors above them slowly opening to the crushing depths of the Pacific. Chen stood on the bridge, watching as her crew took their stations. Each console was a hybrid, holographic displays backed by mechanical gauges, quantum processors with analog computers standing ready to take over if the primary systems were compromised. "All hands, this is the Admiral," Chen announced over the ship-wide comm. For 5 years, we've watched the Zorn strut through our solar system like conquering gods. We've watched them devastate our cities, murder our people, and treat Earth like their personal colony. They believe they've reduced us to primitives, incapable of challenging their dominion. She paused, letting her words sink in. They're wrong. Humanity wasn't broken by their attack. We were forged by it. Every person on this ship carries the memory of what we lost. Today, we begin taking it back. The Phoenix rose through the water column, its advanced propulsion system nearly silent despite the enormous pressure. They had built in these depths specifically because the Zorn never bothered to scan the oceans, another product of their arrogance. Their sensors were tuned for space-based threats, not something rising from Earth's own waters. As they approached the surface, Chen gave the order, "Activate the Shadowmaker." The sphere of darkness in the ship's core pulsed once, and a wave of quantum disruption spread outward. On their sensors, they watched as the network of Zorn communication satellites suddenly went dark, cut off from their quantum links. "Surface breach in 30 seconds, Rodriguez reported. "All weapons primed. Primitive systems standing by." Chen took her command chair, fastening the restraints. "Today we remind the Zorn of something they've forgotten in their long history of conquest. Sometimes the most dangerous predator isn't the one with the sharpest teeth or the most advanced weapons. It's the one with nothing left to lose and everything to fight for." The Phoenix broke the ocean's surface, under the cover of darkness, its hybrid engines switching seamlessly from aquatic to atmospheric mode. Above them, visible even through Earth's atmosphere, the crystalline form of the arbitrator hung like a malevolent star. "Plot an intercept course," Chen ordered. "Let's introduce ourselves to our overlords." As the Phoenix rose through the atmosphere, its primitive systems masking its true nature from Zorn sensors, Chen thought about all the species that had fallen before the Zorn's technological superiority. None had fought to fight fire with both ice and fire, to combine the advanced with the primitive in a way that turned the enemy's strengths against them. That was humanity's gift, the ability to innovate not just forward, but in all directions. The Phoenix carried humanity's most advanced technology alongside systems that would have been recognizable to engineers from a century ago. It was a ship that could fight in any condition, adapt to any attack, and deliver a message that the Zorn Empire had never heard before. Humanity wasn't just going to survive, it was going to win. The Phoenix rose through Earth's atmosphere like a predator from ancient depths. Its hybrid hull configuration, switching between different material states, scattered the Zorn's standard scanning beams. To their sensors, it would appear as nothing more than atmospheric distortion, if they bothered to look at all. "Target is maintaining standard patrol orbit," Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, his hands dancing across both holographic controls and mechanical backups. "They haven't detected us yet." Admiral Chen studied the tactical display showing the arbitrator in all its crystalline arrogance. The Zorn command ship was massive, nearly 2 kilometers of translucent geometric patterns that seemed to defy physics. But Chen knew its weakness now. Without its quantum network, it was just another ship, isolated and vulnerable. "Status of the Shadowmaker?" she asked. Dr. Patel's voice came through the comm with barely contained excitement. "Field is stable and expanding. The arbitrator's quantum links are completely severed. They're trying to re-establish communication through conventional means, but our jamming suite is blocking all frequencies. Time to intercept. 3 minutes to optimal range." Chen opened the ship-wide channel. "All hands, battle stations, weapon crews, prepare for hybrid engagement sequence. Remember your training. When their disruption field hits, switch to mechanical systems immediately." The bridge crew worked with practiced precision. The Phoenix had been designed with redundancy in mind. Every crucial system had both a high-tech and a low-tech backup. When the Zorn's infamous electromagnetic pulse hit, they would find their usual tactics useless. Energy spike from the target. Rodriguez called out, "They've spotted us." The arbitrator's response was predictable. a massive electromagnetic burst designed to disable any approaching vessel systems. The wave of energy washed over the Phoenix, and for a moment, all its advanced systems went dark. Then the mechanical backups kicked in. Switching to analog targeting, Rodriguez announced, as the sophisticated holographic displays were replaced by physical scopes and mechanical computers. All weapons responding. They definitely weren't expecting that. Chen allowed herself a grim smile. Show them what we've learned. All batteries, open fire. The Phoenix's hybrid weapon systems came alive. Railguns powered by simple electrical circuits launched projectiles at relativistic speeds. Chemical rockets, their guidance systems protected by Faraday cages, spiraled toward the crystalline vessel. Energy weapons, drawing power from shielded capacitors, lanced out with precise beams. The arbitrator's response was confused and delayed. Its crew, accustomed to fighting enemies they could simply disable, found themselves facing weapons they couldn't counter. Their crystal hull, designed to disperse energy weapons, shattered under the impact of kinetic projectiles. Direct hits on their primary propulsion array, Rodriguez reported. They're trying to bring their main weapons to bear, but the Shadowmaker is preventing their targeting systems from achieving quantum lock. Launch the WASPs, Chen ordered. From the Phoenix's launch bays emerged swarms of small, autonomous drones. Unlike traditional smart weapons, these were deliberately designed to be simple. Mechanical guidance systems, basic proximity fuses, and warheads that combined contemporary explosives with primitive black powder. They were too basic for the Zorn's disruption field to affect, yet deadly effective against their crystalline technology. The arbitrator's defense screen flickered as it tried to track multiple threats using conventional sensors alone. Without its quantum network, each defensive system had to operate independently, creating gaps in coverage that the WASPs exploited mercilessly. Message from the target, Communications Officer Lisa Chang announced. They're trying to surrender. No quarter, Chen replied, her voice hard. Not after Geneva. The Phoenix's main guns spoke again, their combination of advanced targeting and simple propulsion finding weak points in the arbitrator's structure. The crystalline ship began to break apart, its crew unable to coordinate repairs without their quantum links. Enemy vessels showing critical structural failure, Rodriguez reported. Their reactor containment is compromising. Hold position, Chen ordered. Let them see us. Let them know exactly who killed them. The Phoenix hung in space, its hybrid hull now fully visible to the dying Zorn ship. Chen imagined their confusion and fear as they realized their killer was a human vessel, something that shouldn't have been possible according to their understanding of Earth's technological state. The arbitrator's reactor went critical, turning the massive ship into a brief, brilliant new star. As the light faded, Chen activated a tight beam transmission to the debris field, knowing some of the Zorn's emergency recorders would survive to be found later. This message is for the Zorn Empire, she spoke clearly. You came to our world believing your advanced technology made you invincible. You thought disabling our machines would make us helpless. Instead, you taught us how to combine the old with the new, the primitive with the advanced. The ship that killed your command vessel is just the first. We're coming for all of you. As the Phoenix turned away from the debris field, Chen studied the tactical display showing the other Zorn patrol vessels scattered across the solar system. Each one was now isolated, cut off from the quantum network they depended on, about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating humanity. Plot course for the next target, she ordered, and update our casualty list. I want every crew member to remember what we're fighting for. On the main screen, a list of Earth's dead scrolled past. Millions of names, each one a reason for the Phoenix's mission. The Zorn had brought their advanced technology to Earth as conquerors, never imagining that humans would find a way to turn both progress and regression into weapons. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in its technology, but in its ability to adapt, to combine, to find solutions where none seemed possible. The Phoenix wasn't just a warship. It was humanity's response to an empire that had forgotten that true power comes from innovation, not just advancement. And it was just getting started. The destruction of the arbitrator sent shockwaves through the Zorn Empire. For the first time in their 1,000-year history of conquest, they faced an enemy that turned their own technological superiority into a weakness. As the Phoenix struck target after target across the solar system, a pattern emerged that terrified the Zorn leadership. Humanity had learned to fight smart, not just hard. Admiral Chen stood in the Phoenix's tactical room, studying the holographic display of their latest victory. 5 Zorn patrol ships destroyed in the past week, each engagement revealing more about their enemy's vulnerabilities. "Show me the neural captured data," she ordered. Dr. Patil activated a secondary display, revealing complex patterns of quantum information retrieved from the wreckage of their latest target. "It's fascinating, Admiral. The Zorn don't just use quantum entanglement for communications. It's fundamental to their entire society. Each ship's crew functions as a collective consciousness, linked through quantum networks, which is why they fall apart when we cut them off." Chen nodded. "But there's something more, isn't there?" Maya's eyes lit up with the excitement of discovery. "Yes, we've detected a pattern in the quantum signatures. All these ships, all these crew members, they're receiving constant updates from somewhere. A central hub that maintains their collective consciousness across the entire empire." Lieutenant Rodriguez joined them, adding his tactical perspective. "That's why they can't adapt to our hybrid warfare approach. Their entire species thinks and acts as one entity. They literally can't conceive of combining different technological levels. It would be like asking a single brain to think at medieval and modern levels simultaneously." Chen traced the quantum signal patterns with her finger. "Can we track these signals to their source?" "Already done," Maya replied, expanding the display to show a star map. "All quantum signatures lead back to a single point, a star system about 30 light-years from Earth. We believe it's their homeworld, or at least the center of their hive mind." "The head of the snake," Chen mused. "If we could disrupt their central quantum network, the entire empire would be thrown into chaos." Rodriguez finished. "But Admiral, the Phoenix wasn't designed for long-range interstellar travel. We'd need to modify the engines, and even then—" "Do it," Chen ordered. "Maya, how long to adapt our fold space drive for that distance?" 3 days, maybe 4, but there's another problem." The engineer pulled up schematics of Zorn space around their target. "The entire system is surrounded by quantum detection grids. The minute we drop out of fold space, they'll know we're coming." Chen smiled, the expression making her scar twist. "Unless we give them something else to worry about." "Lieutenant Chung, broadcast this on all frequencies we know the Zorn monitor." She stepped to the communication station, her voice clear and challenging. "To the Zorn Collective. Your ships are falling. Your network is failing. Your empire of quantum slavery is about to end. Come to Earth. Bring your fleet. Prove you're more than parasites hiding behind advanced technology." The response was immediate. Zorn ships across known space began moving, converging on the Sol system. They took the bait, pride and fear driving them to crush this unprecedented threat to their dominion. "They're deploying everything they have," Rodriguez reported, watching the tactical feeds. 90% of their fleet is heading for Earth, leaving their homeworld virtually undefended." Chen nodded. "Status of the modifications. Fold space drive will be ready in 72 hours, Maya confirmed. "I've also made some improvements to the Shadowmaker. Instead of just disrupting their quantum network, we might be able to introduce a virus into their hive mind, something that would force individual consciousness back into each Zorn." Chen studied the data, her mind racing through possibilities. The Zorn's greatest strength, their unified consciousness, could become their ultimate weakness. "How many Zorn do you estimate are connected to the central network?" "Billions," Maya replied. "Their entire species is linked. Breaking that link would free them," Chen finished, "or drive them mad. Either way, their empire ends." She turned to her crew. We have 72 hours before the Zorn fleet reaches Earth. That's how long we have to reach their homeworld and strike at their heart. Lieutenant Rodriguez, plot a course that keeps us out of their standard patrol routes. Dr. Patel, I want that virus ready. And someone get me some coffee. It's going to be a long 3 days. As her crew rushed to their tasks, Chen returned to studying the quantum data. The Zorn had invaded Earth believing their advanced technology made them invincible. They never considered that humans would find a way to use that same technology against them, combining it with primitive systems in ways their collective mind couldn't comprehend. Now, in their arrogance, they were committing their entire fleet to crushing Earth, never imagining that the real threat was a single ship about to strike at their very core. The Phoenix would have one chance to reach the center of their hive mind and release a virus that would shatter the quantum bonds holding their empire together. Send word to Earth Defense Command, she ordered. Tell them to be ready. When we strike the hive mind, every Zorn ship in the system will be thrown into confusion. That's when they counterattack. The Phoenix began its preparations for the longest fold space jump in human history. In its workshops, engineers worked to modify the engines. In its laboratories, scientists refined the quantum virus that would free billions of minds from collective control. And on its bridge, Admiral Chen planned the attack that would either liberate a species from mental slavery or drive them into chaos. The real war for humanity's survival was about to begin, and it would be fought not just with weapons, but with the very nature of consciousness itself. The Phoenix emerged from fold space on the edge of the Zorn home system, its hybrid systems immediately shifting to stealth configuration. Before them, a star burned blood red through layers of artificial quantum fields, the technological cage that housed the heart of the Zorn hive mind. Multiple orbital structures detected, Rodriguez reported, his voice hushed with awe. The entire star is enclosed in a quantum computing shell. Admiral Chen studied the massive construction through the Phoenix's sensors. The Zorn had built a Dyson swarm of quantum processors around their sun, using its energy to maintain the collective consciousness of their entire species. Life signs, she asked. Minimal ship activity, Rodriguez confirmed. Your gambit worked. Admiral, they've committed almost everything to the Earth assault. Dr. Patel's voice came through the comm. Admiral, you need to see this. In the engineering lab, Maya had their quantum sensors focused on the star system's center. The amount of quantum entanglement it's beyond anything we've ever detected. This isn't just a communication hub. It's the original source of their collective consciousness. Chen watched the data scroll across her display. Explain. The Zorn didn't evolve as a hive mind species, Maya said, excitement making her words rush. They built this. Thousands of years ago, they chose to link their consciousness together. Every Zorn born since then has been connected to this network from birth. They're not just sharing thoughts. They're sharing one consciousness spread across billions of bodies. And if we disrupt it? Chen asked, though she already suspected the answer. We'll be forcing billions of beings to experience individual consciousness for the first time. The psychological shock alone will shatter their empire more effectively than any weapon. Chen finished. Status of the virus. Ready for deployment. But Admiral, Maya hesitated. There's something else. The quantum fields around the star, they're not just processing data. They're containing something. Some kind of reaction. Chen felt a chill run down her spine. They've weaponized their star. If the quantum fields fail, the stellar engineering they've done collapses. The star goes supernova. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. Their mission to free the Zorn from mental slavery could result in the destruction of their entire civilization. Options, Chen asked. Rodriguez spoke up first. We could target their orbital platforms selectively. Take out the hive mind, but leave the stellar containment intact. Impossible, Maya countered. The systems are too interlinked. It's all or nothing. Chen stood, her decision made. Tell me about the supernova timeline. Based on these readings, 6 hours from field collapse to full stellar event. Enough time for nearby ships to escape, but they're central worlds. Send this data to the Zorn fleet at Earth, Chen ordered. All of it. Let them see what their ancestors built, what their precious unity will cost them. Admiral, Chung interrupted. Incoming transmission. The Zorn. They're trying to communicate, not through quantum channels, old-fashioned radio. Put it through. A voice filled the bridge, singular and yet somehow echoing with billions of thoughts behind it. We know what you intend, humans. You cannot comprehend the gift of unity. To be one mind, one purpose. To be slaves, Chen cut in. To never know individual thought, individual choice. How many species have you absorbed into your collective? How many civilizations have you stripped of their uniqueness? We bring order to chaos. We end the suffering of isolation. You end freedom, Chen replied. And now you face a choice. The Phoenix carries a virus that will sever your quantum network, free every Zorn to think for themselves. Your fleet has 6 hours to retreat to safe distance before your star explodes. Order them to withdraw from Earth, or we release the virus now and let panic do our work for us. Silence filled the channel. Chen could almost feel the billions of linked minds trying to process an impossible choice, unity or survival. You would destroy our civilization to save your own, the voice finally said. No, we're offering you a chance to save yourselves. Individual consciousness isn't a curse. It's what drove humanity to survive your invasion, to build this ship, to find ways to fight that your collective mind couldn't imagine. Accept it willingly, or have it forced upon you in terror as your star dies. Minutes passed as the collective consciousness debated. Finally, our ships are receiving orders to withdraw from your system. Chen nodded to Rodriguez, who confirmed the retreat was genuine. Now here are our terms. The Phoenix will help you safely dismantle the quantum network. Your species will be free to choose, individual consciousness or voluntary linking in small groups. But the age of the forced collective is over. And if we refuse? Chen's hand hovered over the virus launch control. Then I suggest you spend your final 6 hours learning how to think for yourself. The transition took months. The Phoenix remained in the Zorn system, its human crew helping billions of minds learn to exist as individuals. Some Zorn went mad. Others embraced their newfound individuality with jubilation. Most simply learned, slowly, what it meant to be truly alive. A year later, Admiral Chen stood before the United Earth Council again. Behind her, a Zorn representative waited to sign the peace treaty, not as a voice of the collective, but as a chosen speaker for their newly democratic society. The Zorn Empire is gone, Chen reported. In its place, a civilization is learning to balance unity with individuality, technological advancement with simple wisdom. They're discovering what humanity never forgot, that true strength comes not from overwhelming power, but from the ability to adapt, to think differently, to rise from defeat stronger than before. She touched her scar one final time. The Phoenix never fired a shot in their home system. In the end, our greatest weapon wasn't technology or force, but the offer of freedom. The stars are growing crowded, and Earth's influence spreads. But we come now not as conquerors or victims, but as teachers, helping other species learn what we've always known. The strongest steel is forged in the hottest fires, and the most powerful force in the universe isn't technology or unity. It's the indomitable spirit of a free mind. The Phoenix's mission had ended, but humanity's had just begun. As Earth took its place among the stars, it carried a message to all who would listen. True civilization isn't measured by the advancement of its technology, but by the freedom of its people to think, to choose, and to become more than they ever imagined possible.